ounces. There would be about 10 of these berries to a pound. Indeed, the world champion gooseberry was claimed by Egton Bridge for over 30 years, the world champion grower being Mr. Tom Ventris, president of the local society. The World Championships have been held at Egton Bridge for nearly 200 years, although the society records only date to 1843. This must surely be the doyen of all gooseberry shows, and it competes with those in distant places like Derbyshire and even Brighton. They are always in the background, while Egton Bridge hogs the stage. That was the situation until the Aidensfield Old Gooseberry Society was founded. No one quite knew how it started, but reliable sources suggest that someone crept into Egton Bridge one very dark evening and stole several show bushes from the garden of a noted grower. The story says that these were smuggled across the moors and planted in a quiet cottage garden at Aidensfield, where they were fiercely guarded and brought to maturity in secret, behind tall fences and a crop of well-regulated nettles. The story is quite feasible, because in Yorkshire it seems that only the Egton Bridge berry bushes are capable of producing the gargantuan fruit so necessary for show purposes. This meant that if the Aidensfield growers wished to knock the Egton Bridge men off their prickly pedestals, they would require bushes with the same inherent qualities. Such plants rarely grace the market ouvert. Sometimes I wonder if those rumours of berry bush smuggling were circulated to discredit the Aidensfield trees, for it is fair to say that the Aidensfield Society did boast such grandly named trees as Lord Kitchener, Lord Derby, Blucher, Thatcher, Woodpecker, Surprise, Princess Royal, and Admiral Beatty, all top names in the gooseberry world. This is quality. It would take a good thief to steal such gems. I suspect it is just a nasty legend. From those first trees, therefore, by whatever means they arrived, the Aidensfield Society flourished, each new member taking cuttings off the first of its type, until a select number of village gardens boasted a veritable forest of thorny competitors. During the formative years of the Aidensfield Society, the presence of those bushes was a closely guarded secret, and it was not until they were producing colossal fruit that they were revealed to an astonished world. It came with the shock announcement that one berry from Aidensfield would be competing in the forthcoming World Championships at Egton Bridge. The fact that no one, not even the experts, had heard of the Aidensfield gooseberry caused a furore among the other growers. Even those experts from distant parts of England had never wrested the World Championship from the noble Eskdale village, so the first showing of an Aidensfield berry was earth-shattering in its audacity. It was akin to a learner driver in a mini-car competing in the World Motor Racing Championships, and I happened to be village policeman at Aidensfield during the run-up to this grim competition. It transpired that 7 residents of Aidensfield owned trees. Every one of them had bush ancestors in the Egton Bridge locality, and each of those 7 people had for years protected their berries against unauthorized attention. Their secret had been brilliantly maintained until it was time to execute the coup de grace. The president of the Aidensfield Society was Joe Marshall, a retired railwayman who lived in a beautiful cottage along the lane at the eastern edge of Aidensfield. His home stood close to the highway, with an extensive garden behind. It was in the seclusion of that garden that Joe nurtured his berries, and he hailed me from there one fine July morning. He was a stocky man who habitually wore brown corduroy trousers, a grey sports jacket, and black hobnailed boots. In his late 60s, he sported a flat cap which never left his head, indoors or out, so I never knew whether his iron grey hair covered his entire head or merely sprouted below the rim of his headgear. "Mr. Rhea," he announced solemnly, removing a smoking briar pipe from his mouth. "I'm right glad to find you." "Morning, Joe," I greeted him. "Trouble, is it?" "Nay," he said slowly in the manner of a Yorkshireman. "Not trouble. Help, I think. Guidance, maybe." "Right," I said. "How can I help, or be of guidance?" "Thou'd better come in." And he led me into the smart, sunny kitchen of his home where his wife worked. Mrs. Marshall was a shy woman who rarely went out, except to the post office for her pension, or to the shop for groceries, but she smiled at me, and Joe said, "Tea, Mr. Rhea?" "Thanks." It was a warm afternoon, and a drink was welcome, even if it was a hot one. The kettle sang on an open fire, and within minutes the silent Mrs. Marshall, in her flowered pinny, produced a brown earthenware teapot and some china cups.